Commissioners Court to order. I'm sorry, we on? We are. Again, it's 9 o'clock. Call the Blanco County Commissioners Court to order this August the 11th, 2020. Ask Ms. Wall to call the roll.
Judge Brady.
Here.
Commissioner Weir.
Here.
Commissioner Eaker.
Here.
Commissioner Leisman.
Here.
Commissioner Granberg.
Here.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Up for public comment this morning is Ms. Deanne Welch.
Good morning. I have told you during previous 3-minute vignettes that I expect all of the first responders of Blanco County to be fully staffed and fully funded prior to your granting raises to anyone else. There is a lot of noise and it's obstructing my voice. You have responded with a 6% raise countywide in the proposed 2021 budget. And I've got a schedule of salary and benefit totals with an increase this year of salary and benefit countywide in $409,214. This total salary and benefits increase proposed represents an 8.3% growth rate, not 6%. You're proposing to add at least 5 new positions, and you want to greatly enhance the salary of at least 2 current positions. For example, the county clerk and county assessor registrar, who currently earn salaries of $47,842 each for performing their duties, including elections duties, will now earn $50,713 each with a 6% raise. In addition, you propose contingency salaries in the total amount of $21,886 for election duties within the county clerk and county assessor registrar proposed budgets. Further, you propose a salary of $33,880 for a new elections clerk, displacing the salary of $36,000 for an elections administrator. I know this is difficult hearing these numbers. You would need to see my schedule. Thus, you are proposing that the work product currently being performed in the amount of $131,684 shall now be performed in the amount of $157,192, or a 19.3% increase. This proposed increase to perform county clerk and county assessor registrar duties, including elections duties, appears excessive and unwarranted. And I still don't have an emergency services district that remains always open as advertised. I recommend that you abort plans to enhance salaries until all first responders of Blanco County are fully staffed and fully funded. Thank you for your attention.
And Mr. Kenneth Welch.
I am a supporter of the technology that CoFile brings to Blanco County for the digitization effort. However, I tried the technology this past weekend and it failed to provide me with the information I was seeking. In fact, I was directed to Harrison County to find the results. I do not believe you should commit $60,000 toward a second CoFile project when the initial project is not yet complete. More importantly, there are much higher priorities for county funds. During this worldwide health crisis, you are continuing to ignore the need for improved rural health care in Blanco County. At your last meeting, you advised that the Gem of the Hills had requested funds, but they did not meet their request did not submit the request before your deadline. Gem of the Hills provides much-needed health-focused programs for Blanco County citizens. In addition, they provide needed space and services during times when an evacuation center is needed. The gem is truly a gem in Blanco County and is worthy of help. You have proposed funds for the Blanco Library, another good organization, but not one that aligns with the responsibilities of county government. The library will soon receive $18,000 from Kinder Morgan. The library did not submit a request for funding prior to your deadline. Perhaps knowing they would soon get $18,000, they felt they should not burden the taxpayers this year. Judge Bray has chosen to include $5,000 for the Food Pantry North. Again, a fine organization, but like the Gem of the Hills, they did not request by the deadline. The Food Pantry South asked for $3,500, but Judge Bray is suggesting $5,000. Do your rules only apply when the judge chooses to exclude an organization? Why don't you publish your rules in the local newspapers so that all worthy organizations will be aware of your critical dates? Move the $60,000 proposed for co-file to other county priorities. Do not approve this agreement today before the funds are budgeted for 2021. You can also find $31,000 of excess money hidden by Judge Bray on page 6 of the proposed budget. It is item number 10-400-106 for the maintenance supervisor that was also in this year's budget. Not one penny of the $31,000 has been spent this year. Move this money to legitimate county priorities. You are in violation of section 152.004 of the local governmental code by not showing a comparison with actual expenses in your proposed budget. I asked you this last year, you still violate the law. Please start complying with the state laws so the public can see what you are really doing with the tax dollars. Every issue I raise with you is driven by the need for transparency. Why don't you want the citizens to know what you're doing? Thank you.
Item 4 are the minutes from the previous meeting up for your consideration.
I'd like to make a motion to dispense with reading of the minutes and accept them as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, the estimated payroll for August.
I'd like to approve the amount of the estimated payroll in the amount of $315,208.14 for August 2020 payroll.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Granberg, discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, all official reports from the departments are in, available for inspection and up for your consideration.
I move we approve the official reports as presented.
Is there a second? Commissioner Weir, discussion? I'm sorry, was that Commissioner Eaker? My mistake. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7 involves the line item transfers. I think there are 3, all involving the sheriff's department, various needs to move money around. The last one, I noticed today that that last one's rather large. I think that's the one. No, I'm sorry, it's not the last one. The prisoner transport one, I noticed today that prisoner has been transported from up north back to Blanco County and is booked in jail on a murder charge.
I make a motion approving the line item transfers as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eaker, discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to stop here before doing the outstanding bills because I forgot to ask if Ms. Harrison asked me to ask you all to please turn off your cell phones if you can, or at least put them in airplane mode or something of that nature. This is the first day for this new sound system, and still working bugs and kinks out of it, but it would be appreciated if your cell phones didn't interfere with it. Additionally, the new LED light system is in the room, so if you're getting used to a different light spectrum, that's probably the reason. But moving to item 8, outstanding bills.
So Judge, there was one that I've talked to the treasurer about. It was a UniFirst that needs to be moved to precinct 4. It was just it was in precinct 3. But with that correction there, I'd like to approve the outstanding bills in the amount of $70,183.38.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Granberg seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben Oakley is present today to provide the Commissioners Court an update on really county efforts and more to the point, his efforts and the efforts of the local health authority for the COVID-19 problem that we find ourselves in.
Thank you, Judge. You're okay. You're good. So, yes. So today's day number 142 since our first case, Blanco County. It's kind of puts things in perspective. We really started working on this about probably a month before that, so we're quite a ways into this. As of this morning, there's a total of 115 confirmed cases in Blanco County. Currently, we're reporting 77 active, 36 recovered, and 2 deceased of those 115. As of this morning, there's 18 persons under investigation for possible COVID-19. The one thing, just to kind of clarify a few things, persistent questions on this, the recovery number is knowingly a little low. It's realistically higher than that. The follow-up process with epidemiology has not been going as quickly as possible, and we've been helping with that to speed that up, and we're working on that, but realistically that number is probably a little higher. The other thing to comment on is regarding our fatality data. So the state, if you go onto the state's dashboard, they're reporting 5 deaths in Blanco County, whereas we only have knowledge of 2. And that stems from a change in the state reporting process that changed about 10 days ago, where they're now, instead of receiving those death reports in the public health section, they're actually querying the Texas Death Registry from vital statistics and pulling where any death certificates of people who reside in Blanco County where COVID is listed as the cause of death. And when they run that, it says 5. So they don't have the line level detail on those yet. They're working on that, and Region 7 is actually working on Blanco County's data today. So hopefully we'll have that information today and can reconcile those. Recent new processes, we've streamlined a lot of data coming in as far as new cases. So previously where everything went through the state and we saw that like 3-week delay with all of our local healthcare partners, we've developed methods to get those cases directly and quickly so that we have an opportunity to intervene, talk with the family, provide them with assistance as needed to isolate it. Because when it takes 21 days to get it from the state, obviously we're surpassed any window to do any type of intervention in helping them isolate. So that's working really well. And the big thing, we've noticed a improvement in our case numbers and trajectories over the past few weeks. A lot of the public health strategies that have been employed are starting to look normal, and people are implementing them into their daily lives, and they are making an impact. So we're very excited about that. Our biggest upcoming challenge that we're currently working on is the flu season's officially starting in about 45 days. And so dealing with COVID and flu at the same time is, I think, everyone in the public health sector's greatest fear. So we're just working on preparing for that and going to be doing ramped up prevention efforts this year. So we've done flu clinics and stuff like that in the past, but obviously we need to do that on a much larger scale this year. And so we're looking into some of the methods we use with COVID, like drive-through testing and whatnot, the same type of methodology with like drive-through flu shot clinics and removing barriers to care for people who have difficulty with that. So are there any questions today that I can answer? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Item 10 involves a criminal case management program for the county attorney's office, and it's a request for authorization to execute the agreement with Software Unlimited for that system. Ms. Early can give you more detail if you have questions. Are you needing more time, or do I take your silence to mean no one is interested in the system?
Ms. Early, can you explain to us what it does?
So as of right now in the county attorney's office, we have hard files. We are not paperless. And so our hard files are stored obviously on site, and then they do eventually go into boxes into storage. So every time we get a phone call, every time we need to check cases, we have to go to the hard files. We've had to create our own Excel spreadsheets. We use our own Word documents for all of our pleadings, all of our motions, any kind of paperwork we do on the criminal side. And so this case management software would actually catalog all those cases for us. It would also allow us to generate documents where the documents populate based on the case information that's put in the system. And so we don't have to create everything from scratch. It does take a long time to do that. Most counties have case management systems and software. Those programs in other counties are very, very expensive, like Odyssey does that. Obviously, the Odyssey is, at this point, not an option for the county because of the cost. And so this would be a case management program just for our office. The upcoming budget proposals that we had for our county attorney office budget includes the money for this software. And we do have money currently still in our software line item that would allow us to get the program started now, and so that's what that agreement is about. But it's, I believe right now for the first year, it would be roughly $275 a month, which is a very, very small amount compared to most case management programs, and we have looked extensively into that. And so this would save us a tremendous amount of time. Just to give you an idea, with CPS, the state, CPS actually provides what's called hot docs, which does pretty much the same thing as what we're asking to have done on the criminal side with this case management software. And so CPS isn't a concern because CPS provides all of that for us. And so this would be our own case management software for our criminal cases in county court.
Is there not a criminal case within our current system with Zerker?
Net data does not generate those documents for us. We don't have net data in the county attorney's office, and so no, we don't have a case management program.
I'm not talking about net data, I'm talking about Zerker. Is there, Mike, there was not a portion of that that I thought that there was something that the city of Johnson City was looking into whenever we were going through all that.
And I know the Sheriff's Department has Zerker that allows them to manage what they have at the Sheriff's Department and also generate documents. We don't have any of that. In our cases too, again, we're dealing with attorney-client privilege. And so this is a case management software that would be specifically for the county attorney's office.
Does it allow you to interact with other agencies and it doesn't, it's all in-house in your office?
It's all in-house, yes. It is just a case management program for our office. That's correct.
And this is something, it's not available to the public, they can't.
That's correct. It is not available to the public. It is just a program that allows us to have everything in an electronic form for our office.
Right now, you're doing it all in manual filing?
Manual files. We create all our own spreadsheets, all our own documents. And again, it takes a tremendous amount of time, and as the workload continues to increase just by nature of the growth in the county and the growth with law enforcement offices, it simply is becoming, it's more work, and this again would streamline it so that we have the ability to generate documents without creating everything from scratch and without having to go and just pull the hard files every time, because it would provide a program that manages it for us.
Well, I move we authorize the county judge to sign a professional service agreement with Software Unlimited Corporation for criminal case management program for the county attorney's office.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Weir?
Yes.
Discussion.
So this is going to be $275 a month for the remainder of the year.
That's correct, yes.
And then if for some reason beginning budget cycle, we find out that there is a case management system that goes along with what we already have, and it would everything would roll in with each other, would that be a viable option to look into to see the cost and do some comparisons?
Yes, it would, and I can tell you we have looked at some of, again, with Zerker, and that was not an option affordability-wise, and also the functions that our office needed.
Yeah, let me, if I can interrupt you just a moment. When we looked at Zerker, because it's inexpensive and supposed to be a comprehensive system, we were looking at case management. The idea behind it, putting words in Commissioner Leisman's mouth, is you wouldn't have all these key entries. Once you enter data in, it populates it all the way through the case managed. It would be to create perhaps a charging document for you and your office, maybe, and not like you use now, but I mean, it's possible. But the way you were explaining this case management system that you're proposing to me earlier last week, yours is much, the one you're talking about is really more of a law office case management, not just creating just a charging document.
That's correct. This case management software would allow us to generate any of the motions we need. Once a case is filed, there's plea documents, there's discovery, there's bond motions, there's, I mean, lots and lots of pleadings on the criminal side that this program would allow us to do. It's not simply giving us the case information, say, from an arrest that occurs and someone is booked at the jail. This is a law office function. And so, again, I mean, we're looking at a large amount of documents that would be available to us that would be able to be generated, including notices of hearings, which, again, are prepared by hand or on the computer every time we have a docket set. And it's not unusual for our criminal dockets to have at least 30 cases on the docket. So this program is different. And then to speak to your point, Commissioner Leisman, in the contract that is before the court today, there's a non-appropriation clause.
Okay.
And so that would cover if we were able to find another program after this first year that would do something for a similar cost. And again, this is a very inexpensive program, and we have looked at quite a few. Then we have a non-appropriation clause so that we could end this program.
Okay.
Will it allow you to convert your manual files to electronic files, or you just take off day one with it on your new stuff?
I believe it would have that capability. And again, we're not looking to go paperless at this point. We just need a way to manage the hard files better. To do a complete paperless would be the next step, but we're not going there right now with this program.
So you mentioned twice now, I think, that it's low cost. If the county were on the Odyssey system, which I wish we were, but we can't afford that, this piece would be more expensive, would it not?
This piece would be 5 to 10 times more expensive on Odyssey.
And that might be the scenario I was thinking about, was the Tyler Technologies CAD system that we were looking at
Yes.
previously. Maybe that's what I'm referring back to, and Zerkard might not offer. So, you know,
Sure.
it's just a thought. If there was a way to keep everything on the same, in the same system and create less work is the whole goal.
Understood, and the county attorney's office would be on board with that. It's just that at this point, that move has not been made. And again, the cases have continued to increase. We looked at a case management system a year ago at budget time, and we had not found this exact program yet. And we were a little surprised at the cost for the case management systems, and, you know, looking at 10,000 plus a year at least. And so that's why we did not include it in our budget last year, is because we were a little surprised by the cost, even though it is still much less expensive than what Odyssey would have been for those same functions. And so this time we have found a program that is much less than that.
All right, so there's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Granberg and a second by Commissioner Weir. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, it's possible we're going to want to pass this and take it up again at the next Commissioners Court, but not necessarily. Ms. Ellsbury is present, yes. But she reminded me that, well, let me back up. Shortly after the last Commissioners Court, Ms. Ellsbury and I had a chance to visit with the co-file representative and discuss the overall project. And I think Ms. Ellsbury and I are both, well, it's mostly her. It's her office and her project. I'm in full support of it. I think she's pleased with the product, and the price estimate went down from $300,000 to $250,000. And when we get to the budget at the end of the day, I'm proposing an adjustment from $60,000 a year for no interest for 5 years to $50,000 a year, no interest for 5 years. But that said, Ms. Kathy Drolet with co-file isn't here today, and she may have on her calendar that this was to be presented on the 25th or whenever the next Commissioners Court meeting is. So we could pass it if you want. The agreement has been reviewed by the commissioners, the county attorney's office. It is a GSA kind of contract, so it's extremely similar to the one we have already done in the county clerk's office. And the way the meeting that Ms. Ellsbury and I were in, which lasted quite a while, the way that they're planning on doing this process is not unlike what they have done with Ms. Walla's deed records in the sense of restoration and preservation. Do you want to say anything, or would you rather wait and have Ms. Drolet?
If y'all got any questions, I'll try to answer. Basically, it's in my office. We've got a lot of records from the 1876 forward. State library says anything prior to 1950 is historical, and you keep it forever. You gotta preserve it. Guys, right now, none of this is preserved. If we would have a tornado or a flood or something, I lose my records. As it stands, what they're gonna do is honestly, I don't know how they're doing it, it's not money, but they're gonna preserve my historical records. The other ones that get ready for what they call like pre-preservation, they're getting them in good shape. I've got some files you can't even open up, they are literally falling apart. Those are gonna take a little bit longer to work on, and I want you to know those are not only my records, but they were back in those time periods. The clerk was the clerk for the JP, the county, and the district court. So it's a myriad of cases. And they do have historical value, especially for people that live in this county, but there are also naturalization records, declaration records, where I have had people call me wanting to know. They thought their loved one came in Galveston, we were able to look up their records, and they came in through the port of New York City. So they are important that we have them when we get to them, but none of this has ever been preserved. The funds that I have been able to collect since 2010 amounts to $7,500. Last budget year, I asked y'all for $5,000 to start the work on some of these books. I wasn't really able to get a hold of anybody because of COVID, and so I got with Kathy, and she really helped me a lot on what they could do, what I needed to do, what was the most important right now. I'm tickled pink, because this is really needed. It truly is. I've got like over 60 volumes that they're going to be restoring for me. Some of my records I didn't think they would be able to preserve, but they showed me where they're going to be able to preserve them, and I'm actually going to be able to read them. So, on top of that, they're going to be doing an index for me that, guys, I'll be able to put on my website. People will be able to index these old records from anywhere. Once they get on the internet and pull it up, there'll be an index. They'll give you the volume and page number, and then they'll come back and be able to pull the records up and look at them. So, I'm just real excited. Most of our constituents would be, because I've had several people want to come in and look at some of them. Some of them I couldn't let them look at because they're too far along. I was afraid to destroy them even more than what I thought they were destroyed. So, I'm just real excited. I'm very grateful to Judge Gray for introducing me to this lady. She's going to really take care of us. So, do y'all have any questions?
If the court were to approve this, can you remind me the timeline that was being estimated?
Yes, they will. They will be scheduled in late September, early October to pick up all of my files. And then they basically seal them as they put them in the truck. She will be here to make sure everything's taken care of. Part of it will take approximately a year, and then some of them may take 4 months. I'm sorry, 16 to 18 months to complete the
And so we're not talking about, tying the product to the payments, because the payments could go on for 5 years. But we hope to be,
We will get this back before we get paying for it. We will literally get it, which I thought it would take a little bit longer, but.
Not only are they restoring them, but they're scanning them electronically too, so you'll have both.
Well, what they're doing is, they are imaging everything so that we can get a product. The indexes are going to be scanned now where you go in. They've also told me that I can, they worked with it before, and they put that into our imaging system, which I'm hoping it will have some of our images that we can commingle and we'll have them with it. So that's pretty much included in the price that you're getting. But later on, what I need to let y'all know, the state library, they're going to be moving, I said everything pre-1950 is historical. They're going to be moving that probably to 1970, and anything pre will be historical. So my concern is, and I've got a lot of 70 records already in here that we're working on. So we'll be a little bit ahead of the game, but honestly, Commissioners, I didn't think I'd ever be able to get this done. I thought I would retire and never see this happen. So I can't tell you how pleased I am. I think it's very worthwhile. I know my constituents have asked me about this several times, and they wanted to come and help, and I told them, no, I can't bond all of y'all. It's something that we will do our best to do, but it's expensive. So just the fact that we are able to do this, I'm very grateful to you.
And it doesn't matter whether it's handwritten or typed or printed.
That's the most important thing, because I have the old script. That's what they're going to be preserving that will have forever. Some of my documents, the naturalization papers, at that time, when they took me in, they had put some, I call it like a lamination. But what happened was, the acid in that paper had eaten through it. They're going to be able to clean that up and make it very legible. I mean, we will have that forever and ever. And I can't tell you how old some of those are. I'm very thrilled. And I have to tell you, back then when they did that, that was the only way they had trying to preserve those records. We've come a long way since then, and there's a lot that they can do. So I invite y'all, as soon as we get it back, and really invite y'all to come down and look at it, because it's going to be really wonderful if you don't know.
So is this only from 1950 prior?
No. It's all of my books down there. Some of my books go back to the 80s, as far back as the 80s, and that's what we're going to be preserving. I have old books that are index books. Those indexes go back from 1876 to 1991, and then everything 91 forward we have put into our database, our case management system.
So this will be a one-time deal for your office for co-file. We won't have to do it
Until
again.
the next person takes over and y'all have more records. But I'm hoping, guys, that some of the records we're doing now is pre-preservation. She does not really recommend we go the full route because they're not in danger like my old 1800 records. The next step would be to get these preserved on down the road. But right now, we need to get these old books that are falling apart on and preserved. And then
I believe it's necessary to preserve all those old records. I've been through it once before.
His wife is, used to be the district clerk in Burke County. She's the one that gave me my start and impressed upon me the importance of the preservation of records.
So would this be paid out of the general fund or out of a special fund?
The special fund's not creating enough now. As she accumulates a little more, I think she said she's amassed about 7,500, so perhaps in next year's budget, we'll want to work that in, but for the first year, I'm talking general fund.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the restoration, preservation, and digital archiving project with Co-File Technologies for the district clerk's office.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Eaker seconds. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 12 involves an elections agreement with the Johnson City ISD. I actually don't have much information on this other than what's in your folder, but it's similar to the document that we entered into with JCISD last time, and it is because their election was delayed because of COVID, twice actually, I guess, because I think they had a June or July date at one point, and so now it's in November, and they would like it to be conducted along with the rest of the general election, and they're willing to share expenses with us on a proportionate basis. Did you want to add anything to that?
I'd like to make a motion authorizing the county judge to enter into a joint election agreement with Johnson City Independent School District to provide the election services for the school district.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Leisman, discussion. My only question is, it's the same, Blanco ISD finds themselves in the same, maybe they don't have anybody. Right, okay, so they don't need an election. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Wall is interested in getting more DS200s and express votes, and they were already budgeted. Am I right? So this is a question of you approving the specs and the purchase.
So I'll make a motion to approve the specs and the purchase of 2 DS200 scanners and 6 express vote machines for elections.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Granberg, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14 is an agreement with Central Square for a CAD mobile community data platform that I guess fits in with the Zerker system.
Yes, this does, and I'll speak on your behalf a little bit. And for what this does is this does information sharing amongst Zerker combined equipment, so they'll be able to see things that are happening in Travis County and Williamson County and anybody that's affiliated with the Zerker system. So this is a no cost to the county. So I'd like to make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign the agreement with Central Square for a CAD and mobile community data platform to share information amongst agencies utilizing said vendor.
I'll second it.
Is that Commissioner Weir?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15 are the annual road reports.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge the receipt of the annual road reports for the precincts.
Second.
Commissioner Granberg seconds. Let me have just a moment. I want to look at precinct 2. So precinct 2 does not mention the Flat Creek crossing on the east end of the county after 2766 stops. And, well, maybe I need to understand, item 5 just talks about
The Miller Creek Loop, yes, sir.
bridges, culverts, and other improvements necessary to place precinct roads in good condition.
That was my fault. It just totally slipped my mind on that crossing of the far
Well-
east end of the county.
Well, but you can go through each report for each precinct, and I don't think, would it be fair to say that none of you covered all of them? It looks like these are like the immediate projects, the ones you're trying to, the ones we're budgeting for right now, and the ones the highest on your list.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, just for, we can have it recorded, nobody's saying that the Flat Creek Bridge isn't on our radar. Is that a fair assessment?
It's been on the radar for years, even previous commissioner.
Well, and the reason I ask is because I got a call yesterday from Senator Buckingham's office about the idea of extending State Road 2766 to the end of the county, and I want to make sure that everything we do is consistent in our argument to do that. So, with that said, all in favor of the motion to accept the annual road reports, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Weir, I think, wants to discuss a road variance that's been asked for.
Yes.
No, that's Commissioner Eaker.
I'm sorry, it's in that part of the county where you all have
We're
so
right
many
on the line,
subdivisions
yeah.
going
It's
on.
right on the line.
Right on the line.
Yes, I've been in contact with Mr. Pierce, and he is the owner and developer of the 1623 divide. And he would like to use a different procedure than what we have listed in our subdivision rules and regulations. And after investigation, we have found that it is equal to or better than what our rules and regulations call for. What he is wanting to do is to use 6 inches of base and 2 inches of hot mix, which for every inch of hot mix is equal to 2 inches of base. So actually we're getting a better road out of it than what our rules and regulations call for. I have Ron Bischoff has confirmed that. He has got a letter here saying that it is equal to or better than. But there's one, I want to make the motion, there's one thing I'd also like to add to it is recommending including a roof roll on the subgrade, which with this subdivision right now, they'll be cutting through the subgrade to run underground utilities, which will leave soft spots. And if they're not packed back right, the road will deteriorate. So I would like to make a motion to allow the 1623 divide to use the 6 inches of base with the 2 inches of hot mix with, in the event here, Ron Bischoff recommended a proof roll on the subgrade, along with the density tests and everything that goes with what we require.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Weir, discussion.
So going along with the variance just for this subdivision,
Just for this subdivision.
and with the requirement that the proof roll must be completed prior to any
Right.
base being put down.
And to give a little background on Ron Bischoff, that's a third-party engineering group out of Austin that I believe the county has used to check these guys and keep up with them on compaction. And I believe Ron has elected to go out there even
meeting
when
today.
they do these proof rolls, that he'll go out there at any time and check it at the expense of the developer. So that's why I'm backing it. I think it's a good idea, and it's better than the 8 inches with the 2 seal coats. So
Is this less expensive?
No.
it's quite a bit
it's
more
more
expensive.
Why would they do that?
He wants hot mix.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's wanting to put in a Class A road and a great subdivision. He doesn't want to have to go back and repair chip seal.
Is this something that we need, when we discuss changes to the subdivision regulations, that we want to add as a option?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We'll be bringing that up in our workshop. 'Cause
Sounds
I think
like
it's a
at least
great
3
option.
or 4 of you have that in your,
Well, one of the reasons I
Miles.
brought it up is because of
Yeah.
this 310-190 of our subdivision rules and regulations at 310-190. The base course shall be placed, mixed, blended, and compacted by the contractor to 2 4 inches less unless otherwise authorized by the commissioners. Total compaction, compacted base thickness supported by a total section designed by a licensed engineer approved by the county commissioners.
anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 17 is asking for your approval of the purchase of the additional acre to add to the county precinct 3 barn yard.
Yes, sir. We've talked about this previously, but I think that we never included the dollar amount. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase price of $30,000 for the 1 acre piece of property adjacent to precinct 3.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is that you?
Yes.
Commissioner Weir? Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 18, this one would be yours, Commissioner Leisman.
Right. This is some equipment that was purchased with Homeland Security grants through CapCog. They're actually moving them around or placing them in each county in the region. And this is just, it's an MOU that the county judge must sign in order to accept that equipment. It's for training and regional exercises and things of that nature. So I'd like to make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign the equipment transfer memorandum and agreement between Capital Area Council of Government subrecipient and Blanco County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management receiving the jurisdictional agency.
Second,
Second.
Commissioner Granberg. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then Commissioner Granberg, solid waste interlocal agreement.
We had applied for a CapCog solid waste, household hazardous waste collection event, and we received a grant of $32,000 to be used for this event. We have it scheduled for September the 26th at the transfer station. And so we're just starting all the authorizations. There's a lot involved with TCEQ, the contractor, so we're just getting everything lined out to do this event and utilize our grant funding. The last one we did was in 2017. We also received about $28,000 in grant funding to operate that event. The estimate for this event, we're hoping we can come in under the $32,000, but we do have some additional funding available if we do have a big response and we do go over our grant funding. So I move that we authorize the county judge to sign the CapCog FY 2021 solid waste interlocal agreement for hazardous waste cleanup event.
Is there,
I'll second it.
Commissioner Eaker seconds. Discussion. Did I cut you off? Were you saying something?
It just, one of these events that we try to do about every 3 years to provide an opportunity for citizens to have a proper place to dispose of hazardous material that they've collected. And that'll include paint and chemicals, mainly paint. People just accumulate a lot of paint, and there's not an easy way to dispose of it legally or safely. So that's why we apply for these grants and hold these events.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Early is going to brief the court on a recent lawsuit.
Just to bring the court and the county up to date, a federal lawsuit was filed back in March by an individual in the county named Cesar Diaz-Frances. He filed it against the city of Blanco, and that again was done back in March. Since that time, there have been some stays in the proceedings by the federal court, and then recently there was some movement on the suit. And the suit actually alleges complaints against the city of Blanco specifically. It seems that there has been some history with this individual in the city for some time. There are no specific complaints alleged against the county. However, recently, Mr. Diaz-Frances did request from the federal court that several summons be issued, and one of the summons named our Blanco County tax assessor collector just by that name and not individually. We do not know at this time if that was done in error because the federal complaint does not name any allegations against the county whatsoever. The Blanco County Appraisal District is also another entity that has had a summons issued, but the Blanco County Appraisal District does not fall under the county as it's a separate political subdivision. So that's where we stand right now. And so our tax assessor collector, to my knowledge, has not been served. I don't know the status of service in the federal suit, but again, the suit seeks injunctive relief and also asks for monetary damages. And so that's the information that we have based on the records that are filed in the federal court right now, public records.
And there are a couple of ways to go here. One is to enter into executive session and confer with you further. And I'll just say that I don't see a need for an executive session, but certainly open if a commissioner or commissioners would like to have one. The other is to move in some sort of fashion to authorize, I guess, the county attorney and the treasurer to work up a claim with with our insurance provider, our carrier, and in addition, authorize the engagement of a lawyer. And I would recommend Eric McGee, who has successfully represented us recently in the past, as an alternative in the event that our carrier doesn't cover certain things. So those are your options. If there's anyone needs an executive session, we can do that. Or we can wait until the end of the meeting and do it then and finish the rest of the agenda. Or we can take action. Or do nothing.
Judge, I'd like to go ahead and propose to authorize the county attorney's office and the county treasurer to get with our insurance agency and see to file a claim with them, and then if need, to authorize the county judge and county attorney's office to enter into an agreement with Mr. McGee for his professional services for this case.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Weir, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So then item 23, the executive session, unless there's something else that you would like to confer with the attorney, our attorney about, that was it. And I don't see a necessity for an executive session. Under the burn ban, item 21, I noticed that under all of the relevant maps, we're surrounded by burn bans and pretty much in the middle of the drought area. So I assume that, well, I won't make assumptions. Anyone care to?
So currently, right now, it expires as of today?
No,
Next meeting.
next meeting,
Next meeting? Okay.
August 20, I'm sorry, September.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
September.
that's right. Okay. Okay.
So we're currently under a burn ban. All right. And that takes us to ongoing discussions about the budget. And since having filed my proposal on the 31st of July, there have been a few things that have come up that even I'm proposing amendments. Probably the biggest of which, well, one of the biggest of which is the district clerk's page. I think that's page 9 in the budget packet that you had, and that's reducing from $60,000 to $50,000 per year for the co-file project, based on the new estimates. Another big change that I think we're going to need to make is going to be, I believe it's in non-departmental. It's 10-500-511, and it's internet services. And I'm going to propose to you, and I think we have to, we aren't doing a proposed budget today, but we will be soon, right? For the Commissioners Court. I'm going to propose to you that increase to $38,000, and it's based on our options are anywhere from a 1 year to a 3 year, our 1 year to a 5 year contract. Well, literally, it's 1 year, 3 year, or 5 year contracts at various levels of service. We're currently at 50 meg, which I would have thought would have been great. But yesterday in my Zoom criminal court hearing, it knocked off a good portion of the folks on the campus from even receiving emails. And that's going to get worse when Ms. Wallace internet access gets better, and someday when Ms. Ellsbury's system comes online, and then the case management system from Ms. Early. And so it seems like a lot to me, but there's a 500 meg system that for a 3 year contract that would take us, where we would need about another $9,000+ in order to fund it. And that, we hope, will provide the kind of service that we need to have here. Well, it's not just here. I mean, that budget line item is for here and the Law Enforcement Center and adult probation and also the South County Annex. But that's where we are. So that'll be coming, just to let you know, and you may want to debate that one.
Judge, just keep in mind on that, whenever we do move to the new console at the sheriff's office, that will be requiring some internet usage.
See, that's my point. Is while the pipeline seems big to me, apparently it's getting smaller and smaller. The other thing to mention to you is we budgeted last year, and it was kind of a first time that I can remember doing it, the district judge stipend as part of the 4-county district with San Sabulano and Burnick. And it was left out this year, inadvertently, if you will. And it would be the Blanco County share would be $1,234 split between two district judges. But I got a request from the district attorney to add his supplement in because he elected not to take it last year, but would like to take it this year. And this was a surprise to me, but he showed me the statute involved that says that if we're going to give a district judge supplement, then we have to do the same. We have to do the same for the district attorney if the district attorney wants to take it. So we've also added another line item. It's 10-451-401 for half for District Attorney McAfee.
Before, but we'll go ahead and say it again. On page 6, line item 101, we need to increase that by the 6%.
And got that. And that can be part of the Commissioner's Court's proposal when we get there soon. I just didn't want to put it
Right,
because
I
it hadn't been
understand.
done yet. I think it's for the outside world. It's a little ambitious, or it seems ambitious because it's a little larger than we're used to on the road project side. But I think the financial shape of the county is such that now is the time, and you all have some needs, and we ought to press on. So, if there's anything you all would like to discuss about the budget process? We're not at the time to adopt a proposed budget, or are we? Well, it's adopt a proposal. So, what do we do? All right, so the budget calendar that we adopted and have been operating under has August 11th as the date for a proposed county budget. And this is the proposed budget that we would run with and use for purposes of budget hearings, et cetera. Are any of you are ready to go ahead and adopt a proposed budget with the changes that we've been outlining and that you have had a chance to?
I'd prefer to wait one, if we could.
Yeah, I don't think we can wait till the 25th. We may have to have another meeting.
That's fine.
Okay, let's do that. All right. Anything else?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn, sir.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Weir, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, we're adjourned.